Welcome to Carbon Connects, looking at the challenges Pharma has faced, it currently is facing, and what it will be facing in the future.
I think we work really close with our agency. In our case, is to keep innovating. Everybody starts thinking, oh no, AI is going to replace us. It's not. They are going to support you and they are going to help you.
I think some of the big pharma will continue to stutter along, overcomplicate, try and build their own systems.
Hello, I'm Henry Regan and welcome to this episode of Carbon Connects, where I am joined by Carolina and Nick. Carolina, we'll start with you. Can you tell me a little bit more about yourself and your job?
Well, I am from Chile, so I have been working in Pharma since 10 years ago. I have been previously experienced in Pfizer, and then I moved to Grünenthal, working in all the digital strategy as a manager. And then since last year, I have been now I live in the Netherlands, so I'm based in Netherlands, and I'm in charge of working in all the global strategy.
How are you finding the Netherlands?
Very nice. We're missing the mountains from Chile, but it's a really nice experience.
We talked a little bit before about sport as well, and missing some of the sport, which I think...
Especially, it's kind of different, but I think it's a huge, it's amazing culture, and also the experience has been really nice. And also to move and meet all the new colleagues in Europe, it's been a really nice experience.
Lovely. And Nick, tell me about yourself and the role you're in as well.
Yeah, so I'm Nick Lagan. I work with Caro, and we basically manage the Omnichannel operations for Grünenthal. And I've been in the industry for quite a few years, a couple more than Caro, and worked in a couple of different companies, a couple of big pharma companies, and now more medium-sized pharma company.
Great, and tell me, obviously, with that experience, how has Omnichannel changed?
Well, yeah, hugely. I mean, it's companies have been talking about Omnichannel for a while. I think some companies have been talking about Omnichannel perhaps without even knowing what the definition of Omnichannel is. And I think every company's going through a digital transformation, but some companies I think are now at a really interesting stage where they can actually start delivering Omnichannel properly. And they've got the data right, they've got their customer engagement data set up, and they can start actually engaging with healthcare professionals like FMCG companies do with consumers. And that's kind of taken us a while to get there, but it's feels like we're getting there finally now.
Do you feel like, obviously there has been a void for so long with, let's say, FMCG, do you think that you can catch up, maybe even to consumer as well, but do you think you can catch up, or is that still difficult with regulations and legislations put in place with pharma?
Personally, I'm really optimistic. I think definitely. I think the only thing that will kind of stop that happening is, built-in challenges with some of the companies, especially some of the big pharma companies, where they've got global, regional, local, and they can't get everything organised well enough, and that's typically what slows them down. They try and build stuff in-house rather than outsourcing it. All of these sort of human elements, I think, overcomplicate and slow down. But can companies get there? Absolutely. I'm super optimistic.
I think we are in a good path, especially in our company. With all the ecosystem that we have, I think we are building and very focused on personalization and how we can get directly to our customer, but in a personalized way.
And how are you doing that?
Well, we have a really robust ecosystem that we are having. We are working with a platform like Salesforce, where we are getting all the data, and based on data, we are triggering different action to get this personalization in the right time, in the typical, in the right time, with the right channel. But we are doing so. And we're having a lot of different use cases, and also we are sharing, and we are seeing this benefit now regarding engagement and other things.
You talked about data, how has data changed the game over the last sort of, let's say 3-5 years?
Oh, amazing. I think it has been changed a lot, and especially now, in our case, we are using data cloud that is, where with Data Cloud, we are getting this data, but more closely to the marketing team. So they are now can see which interaction the customers are having, or what they like, or like a typical Netflix or Amazon tool. So we are trying to base on the behavior, understand the behavior of this customer, and see what is the next action that are the preference of them.
So obviously coming from South America, from Chile, to Europe and the global team, that must have been a massive, massive change. What are the biggest differences coming from, let's say, South America and Chile to a global team?
Oh, especially the energy. Sometimes they need to you need to take care with the energy that you have. Come on, no. But I think it has been a huge difference. Lucky in Chile after the COVID, we accelerated a lot of the digital transformation. So for us, in our company, we were in a really good path. But of course, if you compare with Latin America, they're working on the digital strategy, but they're in a good path. And Europe is different. I think in what I see, they are working on this digital transformation. Maybe they are not so far away, but they're working. Also, I think it's different regulations. So for us, it's more easier, or was more easier to get new e-consent or e-permission. So that is a huge game changer.
Well, Nick, I mean, that is a really good point. How do you see compliance working alongside you in an omni-channel role?
Yeah, I mean, compliance is super important, and for us, they have been really supportive actually in terms of, especially with AI, thinking about what we can do, what we can't do, what the parameters are. They've been really clear on that, and they've worked really, really closely with us in terms of understanding what we're trying to do and how we can do it in a compliant fashion, So there's many different pilots that we're doing at the moment, and we need to see how we can scale some of that. There's still an element of, especially with AI, human oversight onto things, and we want to move away from that as quick as we can. So still many more discussions to have with compliance, but they've been great enablers for, letting us pilot what we're currently piloting.
And where do you both, I mean, this is probably a question individually, but where do you both see this going in the next, I mean, we've been laughing about it, I say a year or two, we're talking probably the next 6 months, 3 months, but exactly, where do you see it leading to, and what's your vision for the future of pharma, of medicine as well, using AI specifically?
In my case, I think I think in our case it's very nice and good to have the AI, because it will facilitate all the operative things, more focus on data, more focus on create more personalized experience with our customer, not also, but any stakeholder, internal and also external stakeholder. So I think AI came to accelerate and be more creative and take away all the operative and tax things. So I think it would be a game changer, and especially in pharma, that sometimes we are really more less advanced versus other company, and here I think we are in a good path now, and AI came to change everything.
Yeah, exactly. I fully agree. I think there's loads of different ways it will help improve things. In terms of like content generation, for instance, I think it'll totally change that. We're at a stage now where we'll very quickly be looking to develop content which is really personalised for customers based on the profiling information we've got of customers. And we do that, AI generated content, but it's kind of informed by what we already know about customers. So, we move away from, paying an agency a lot of money to come up with some sort of branded content based on some hypothetical persona to actually different sorts of content which are highly personalised. So that's one way. MLR review is going to change. I mean, within Grünenthal we're running 15 different AI pilots at the moment, and everybody's super engaged about it, and we're learning lots every day. So I think that'll help inform us over the next couple of years, but there's loads of possibilities.
So you talk about the agency side, and that's interesting with the external vendors. You're still going to need the support of them, obviously, but they're going to have to pivot as well. Where do you see them pivoting for you, and where do you see them still supporting you if, you know, AI is doing a brunt of the job with content, for instance?
Personally, yeah, I mean, agencies are super important, and the technology is really important, and we've got some excellent agency partners we work with. You know, I think it'll be interesting for some of the agencies. I've got to be honest, there's probably a couple of agencies that I still speak to, but when I hear them talk, I think, wow, you know, that's not what we need. You know, it's not like 1989. We don't need a big print ad. We don't need, you know, 150-page e-detailer. You know, we don't need lots of mammoth content. We need hero content. We need it quickly generated. We need to know about our ecosystem and how we can leverage things. And I think some of the really good agencies we work with, they help us think through our use cases. You know, you can do this, how about that? And that's that's informative and collaborative and really helpful.
And so what can they do to try and support you in your role, Carolina?
Oh yeah, I think we work really close with our agency. In our case, is to keep innovating, because sometimes when you just start working in the omnichannel, you maintain the normal because you feel, or you maintain in the comfort zone. So I think our agency support us to keep being creative, and also keep innovating with the new use case and also new tools. And I think that is nowadays it's really important to maintain and be in this digital transformation. I don't know how can I explain in English, but
No, I completely understand. When you are coming to, you know, agencies pitching you, what do you look for?
Personally, I mean, if they know our sort of digital ecosystem and they're informed about it, then it helps, because then they can say, right, we understand this is the core platforms you use. This is how directly my offer will add value. You know, otherwise, you know, if they're talking generically about here's a new tool, we can do that. I'm always thinking we can kind of already do that, or we can kind of do something very similar, and we're not going to replace that out. So it's therefore less relevant. So I think them understanding our sort of tech setup is really important.
We hear a lot that the medical teams like MSLs don't like to use some of these tools like CRMs. How do we drive better engagement with that? What do you think, Nick?
Yeah, it's makes me laugh, stuff like that, to be honest. I think it needs to be just top-down management, performance management of things like that, to be honest. Because, you know, there's a human aspect to why people don't want to record call information and all of that stuff, and it's a nonsense. So for me, it's as black and white as that. It should be performance managed.
And how can you actually implement that in the organisation? Does that come under your remit, or is that somebody else's, or?
So it wouldn't directly come under our remit. I think we would be looking at global head of medical, or, you know, general managers, more senior managers, to have that, you know, that say.
But then that's a really interesting point, right? Because we have a problem with silos within pharma. How do we make sure that we are improving the silos between the different functions with aspects like this?
I guess it comes down to your organisational design, and making sure that it's, you know, set up that everybody's got the same purpose, really, you know. I mean, how that's executed through different functions will be different, but it should be the same purpose. Whereas I think in some companies you probably see, you know, medical feel as if they have a completely different role, which is not commercial, and therefore taking a different approach. And that, again, for me, that's a nonsense, because, you know, of course it's commercial, but it's a discussion at a different stage and at a different level with customers. But, you know, ultimately it's to drive, you know, commercial performance.
I think maybe also explain the why we are doing this, and I think the digital platform came to support them, what they are not used to see. Typically you go face to face, and then you don't know anything else. But now we have more things. We have interaction in webs. We have a calls, visits. So if in our case we have a unified profile, so they can complement. Okay, if I'm gonna go to the face-to-face visit or digital visit, I can understand what was the last content that this customer read or watch, and I can be more prepared to contact them. So I think we need to keep working on the why we are doing this.
Do you think it's also a cultural thing? Because obviously you're coming from South America, where you said yourself, everyone's more front foot and there's an energy level compared to global. Do you think there's a cultural thing about people feeling more together simply because of that?
I think it's a culture, and also it's something that we are scared on digital, especially when they release AI. We have been working with AI since 3-4 years ago. It's not new, but everybody starts thinking, oh no, AI is gonna replace us. It's not. They are gonna support you and they are gonna help you. And I think it's more cultural, but with a good company. In our case, at least we were really close with the clusters, and also we were in the local team, so we know the pain points, so we can accompany more closely.
You talk about innovative tools and AI. What tools do you use daily?
Oh, a lot. So we are using, under the umbrella Salesforce, we are working with the Marketing Cloud, Data Cloud, CDP, Viva CRM also we are doing. But with AI, we're doing personalization from Salesforce, Instant, and now ChatGPT, but under the umbrella of Azure. So very cool platforms.
Yeah? And what's your favorite to use as well? Do you have a favorite at the moment?
Yeah. Well, in my case, I'm working in personalization, so I'm really focused on how we can improve the next interaction based on data. So I think that is a really nice, it's kind of new, so we are trying to not convince, but show the results of what we are doing with personalization. So I think it's a really nice.
And do you use ChatGPT for that?
We're using also daily Copilot and all the things.
Yeah, for our emails and for everyday our own personal use, we use Copilot and playing about with that, and sending funny images to each other at every opportunity and stuff like that. Creatively responding to emails that we don't know how to phrase things, which is good fun.
Yeah.
When your manager asks you to do something, how do I respond to this? Put some prompts in, help soften the answer a little bit.
Soften the blow.
I think it might be on to me right enough, but anyway.
And where do you see it going? We laugh about this. In the next 3 years, in the next 3 months, where are we leading towards? And I guess for me, individually, where is your vision in that as well?
I think then where we are going, we're going to keep working and accelerate this data-driven experience based on that, and create more personalized experience in the right moment. So the idea is not just send a campaign because we want to send. That is really normal and typical, especially in pharma. Let's go and send what the real customer wants to receive in the moment. So I think we're going to be more focused on personalization.
Yeah, I think there might be start to be a difference between some of the companies in terms of how they're doing things. I think some of the big pharma will continue to stutter along, overcomplicate, try and build their own systems, and be at conferences like this in a few years' time, still talking about the same stuff. And there's other companies that will crack the code and move forward really, really quickly, because they'll have the fundamentals in place, and then they can start leveraging the benefit of AI possibilities. So I think you'll start to see quite a creep between how the companies are doing, because for a long time we've all been kind of in the same place, kind of saying the same things, on the same journey, all that stuff. But I think you start to see a big difference between some of the companies.
Wonderful.
And also, I think the leadership also is a crucial. So if they put you, okay,